Hello YouTube, Tim here, and maybe you can figure out what's going on here. This is what's going to be shot the very second that I get a good day to shoot it on. And for me, good day means cloudy, really a bad day. Just for the nice diffused lighting, because I still have not built a shooting tent. Something like a little PVC enclosure that will hold a white bed sheet overhead. Because the chronograph, the Chrono F1, in my opinion, with natural light doesn't do very well using the diffusers. It really is better suited to a nice cloudy day when the clouds act as the diffusers. They're really bright and it's nice and even. Anyway, this is what I'm going to test, and you've seen it before. It's all beaten up now, the paint's chipped, I've even sanded and cut and mutilated it. This is the Manchu bow. This was the first successful Manchu bow that I made, the wood tip one. So, as you'll recall, Poplar Sia's a 40-inch long, 1-inch diameter PVC pipe, Schedule 40. And all I've done is I've sanded away the edges at the top, both to make it a little nicer looking and to save a little bit of weight. I've cut away the excess of the string bridges, and then I've sanded away there again to save weight and to make it look nicer. And then I cut away about a quarter, maybe a half-inch at the top, which was just dead wood. Because up here it's not doing anything. So I cut that away, and then I sanded, ground, filed to thin the tips from that point. And I did a little slight bit of rounding just here, but you may say that's not going to be a lot of weight. And you're right. It's only 13 grams that I've saved. However, that brought the bow's weight from 604 grams to under 591 grams, and I'm going to do a little bit more work. Let's talk about this before we talk about the consequences. The string. This is my Astroflight string. I've tightened the loops just a tiny bit and cut off any excess material. I left about a quarter inch outside of the knot, so that's adequate, and that's the minimum that I would want to leave. The loops are big, the loops are heavy, the string itself is super light. So I want as little of the loops as possible. Just by cutting off a little bit of material here, I saved 8 grains. Okay, now let's talk about that. That's 208 grains. That's not all that much between the two of them. However, and I'm going to plug my own, absolutely free, totally open document, the PVC Archery Quick Reference Guide. It has a lot to do with traditional and PVC archery, but in there I talk about stuff from the traditional Bowyer's Bible and how changing the weight of the bow will affect the arrow speed. Weight at the center of the bow, you could put a bowling ball there. It's not moving. It's almost not moving, even in a working handle bow like this, and so the consequences are minimal. Mid-limb, you can add about an ounce on a normal 50-pound wood bow, and that'll affect the arrow speed by about 1 foot per second. Near the tip, now you're talking about adding 50, 60 grains, was it? Something like that. And then the string, about the same, and as you get closer to the center, now you're talking about adding maybe 15, 20 grains will affect the arrow speed by about 1 foot per second. Then you eventually get, of course, to the arrow itself. Now it's about 5 to 6 grains will affect the arrow speed by approximately 1 foot per second, all else unchanged. And finally, let's talk about the arrows. These two are the two lightest bamboo arrows that I have. One is 375, 376 grains, I think 376.1, and this is about 380 grains. So, compared to the carbon arrows that I was shooting, these are substantially lighter. In fact, I got 169 feet per second out of this bow shooting a 550 grain arrow. So again, this is almost 200 grains lighter than that. This is 180 grains approximately lighter than that for the arrows alone. Roughly 5 grains for 1 foot per second. It's not going to be that great, but still, there's the possibility to gain minimum 10 or more feet per second. Minimum. With all of this, the changes that I've made here, even only to this point, I still feel that we're able to, with approximately 200 and call it 210 grains taken away, we should expect to gain 2 to 3 feet per second, maybe 3 feet per second. Hopefully a little bit more, because again, almost all the weight is exclusively at or beyond the tips, right where it matters the most. So I think that we can expect to gain 15 to 20 feet per second with this setup or more. Going from 169 feet per second, now we're putting it into the 190 feet per second range. That's a great range to be in. We're getting really dangerously close to 200 feet per second, which is where I want to be. It's possible we'll never get there, but this is a step in the right direction, and as soon as weather permits, now I've explained the tackle to you, what I'm going to do, and that'll be how we go. I'll even try shooting with a thumb ring, which in tests has shown approximately a 6% increase in arrow speed due to just a more efficient release. Thank you for watching, YouTube. Wish me luck, wish me bad weather, and good shooting.